Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about entities and why entities are cool, why entities save you time, and why entities prevent errors. So entities is a concept inside of the iRely system whereby you only have to enter the address, the contact information, or the general information about the entity one time. So let's look at this first screen here. This is a vendor entity. It's also a customer entity. You'll note I know that by looking at the entity type, vendor and customer. Now, if I was in a system where I had to actually create a vendor and a customer, it's twice the work. If this individual changes their address, well, it's two places that I got to go to update the address. Let me show you on our cool thing that we've done with entity and our integration with Google. Basically, if I want to look up an address, and I want to look up a Chicago address or anything like that, I can just start typing in that address. I could start typing in 1739 West Belmont, Chicago, Illinois, right? Now I've got that address. Now if I want to look where that thing is on a map, I just hit the actual lookup bar and boom, now I've got a map of it through Google. This is again our Google integration. I could zoom in on this actual piece and I can look at the street address. I could actually look at it in satellite and I could get detailed information about the place. Now, it's interesting because if it's a facility or a farm, I could go look at it. If it's a competitor, I could go look at it. If it's a customer, I could go look at it. It's kind of cool. All right, so I filled out the vendor information now, the address information, which I can save and put in only one place. And next, I go into additional information. One of the things that you'll notice is integrated with our CRM is the line of business. So the line of business on a particular entity is important, and you can be in multiple lines of business. But this helps us focus our marketing effort as well as starts to cut down our screen so that when you're entering a sales order for an agronomy person or a petro person or a grain person, it'll change the look and feel of that transaction based upon that market, which is kind of cool. So that's the line of business. Now, the other piece that we have is the General tab. So the General tab allows you to give access to this person to the web portal and puts their tax information in that particular entity. The other piece that's specific to the entity is the locations. So here you can see how many locations I want for this vendor. And I can actually insert multiple locations. So I've got a Chicago location. If I want to insert a Fort Wayne location, I can by simply clicking in and saying Fort Wayne. I could spell it right, would be great, and capitalize it right would be great. And because I can't spell and capitalize, this feature of lookup really helps me. You'll note it's there too. So basically this allows me to create a second address, and I'm going to make that address the pay to, right? Maybe I want checks to go here and the actual shipments to come from there. So I can go to the vendor and I can set up the pay to address as Fort Wayne. Now you see how easy that was for me to edit a vendor, change the pay to address, but still keep everything else similar from that respect. So this is great. Why else is an entity important and addresses and locations important on a vendor? Well, that's one place where I can actually look up for duplicate checks. If I had to create a specific vendor for each address and I put in two invoices, they could be duplicate invoices across two vendors and the system would never alert me that it's a duplicate. Since it's one entity, it knows. The next piece is contacts. I can have as many contacts as I want. So I'm going to add a contact George only. And then I'm going to go in and say I can pick which location I'm at. Oh, I'm going to be at the Chicago location. And then I can also do other things on this entity, like what email distribution should I get? If this person gets an invoice, I should send it to George. If this person gets a quote, I should send it to George. If this person gets a sales order, I want to send it to George. This allows us to actually start assigning transactions to our electronic approval. And because I've assigned electronic transactions, ask for my email so it can send me an email and make sure it gets to me. Pretty slick, huh? So now at that point I'm set. Now here I can also say, oh, this person is also a portal user, and what role do they have in our portal user? So that portal user is basically saying, okay, this person can get in and see their info through our portal. Other thing now with millions of contacts, I can put my Skype, Summit George. There's my Skype contact, and I can also put in my YouTube contact, and I can actually view the YouTube channel from there. So this is a very useful piece to actually maintain information about that particular person, right? And this is just telling me that's invalid, so it does validate as well. CRM information. This is where I'm saving information about the contact, not the entity. So you'll note the line of business was on the contact. It's also on the entity. It's also on the contact. And here's where I can say campaign types. I can set up various campaign types and say, what type of campaign, when would I market to this person? And is this person opting out of advertising? So you'll note at the entity level, I can start tracking a lot of information on my customer and vendor and get some great help. And again, that's not just customer and vendor. Think of an employee inside your company. They'd be an employee, a user, and a salesperson. So rather than set up 3 different records inside my system, I could do 1. This is pretty cool. Think of this entity concept and think of all the entities you create, and think of all the entities we have, and think of how much time this is going to save you. Thanks for watching. Like our videos and look for more videos on our YouTube channel if you want to see how to optimize your i21 experience. Have a great day.